Namaste. Shall I start now?
Yes, Umaji. Yes.
My sincere homage to Vandaniya Maushiji. Namaskar to Shantakkaji and all adhikaris and the audience present here. Friends, good morning and good evening to all of you as per the standard time of your country where you are residing. All of us belong to Rashtra Sevika Samiti and we are used to have these Dasha Namaskaras in daily recitation. I am going to speak on these Dasha Namaskaras today, which were formerly in Marathi, and Alkaji has given the whole history, how we have come to this today's modified version of Dasha Namaskaras. See, the action that we perform while offering namaskar to somebody is like this. You have seen it on the presentation also. It looks like a lotus bud. And the very idea is we are offering a lotus bud to the person to whom we are offering namaskar. Second important thing is that we put our hands near our heart first and then we offer the bud to the person. What does it suggest? It suggests that unless the heart is attached to the action, it will not bear the meaning. So this is how we perform the namaskar. The original Sanskrit word namaskara suggests the meaning of bowing down or saluting. Now these are two different things in two different fields. When we stand before a person or when we stand in front of the image in a temple, then we bow down. But when we salute, when it is in the field of military areas, when it is for the nation, when it is for our Rashtra-Dhwaja, generally we salute. So there are different actions performed to offer the namaskaras. These namaskaras, which are composed here, I first in Marathi and then in Sanskrit, are the verbal expressions of the gratitude that we have in our mind for the 10 entities mentioned in these namaskaras. Which are the 10 entities here? See, in the first 5, the primordial elements, that is Pancha Mahabhutas, are offered namaskar. From our school days, we have learned that Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu and Akash are the primordial elements. The next 4 namaskaras are offered to the persons who have contributed to our life and to our personality. And the 10th one is actually the way ahead. In the last namaskara, we are praying that please show us the way ahead, how to tread the path, where to reach. So these are the contents in brief of these 10 namaskaras. Actually, the persons who have contributed to our life has not given only birth. They have not endowed us with knowledge, but they have given us sanskaras, the sacraments, which is a lifelong nourishment for all of us. And for that matter, we are very grateful to all these 10 entities. In short, these 10 namaskaras is a journey from sukshma to sthula, from subtle to gross, and from micro to macro. Now, coming to the main contents, I would like to share with you my experience when I studied these namaskaras in details. The first thought that came in my mind that these namaskaras bear a grand similarity between Vedic mantras. In course of time, I shall explain one Yajurvedic mantra and one mantra from Taittiriya Upanishad. And at that time, I will explain the similarity. But at this juncture, I would just like to note that these Dasha Namaskaras are similar with the Vedic mantras in contents, in diction, and in style. The Vedic mantras are serene, they are transparent, they are sacred, they have sanctity because they are the grand revelations of the sages in the highest meditation style. So, all these Vedic mantras are very pure and respectable for us. The same way, these Dasha Namaskaras are sacred and serene for all of us, the Rashtra Sevika Samiti in general, and we people in particular. So now, I would like to share one important point with you that, see, the first sun is invoked, then Akasha, then Vayu, then Varuna, then Prithvi, then Bharatamata. These are the main things in the first 6 stanzas. Then our parents, that is father and mother. Equally important is our Guru or Acharya. Then the Chaitanya residing in our body, and then the Dig Mandala. I will comment on Dig Mandala later. Now, one more important characteristic of these Dasha Namaskaras is these Namaskaras have universal application. They are the part of Vishwa Dharma. We can proudly say that these Namaskaras is a composition or creation of a Hindu mind. And Hindu mind always has the broad perspective of the universe of human life. And therefore, you will find that it has Vaishvika application. I will explain it, what I mean. Here, the 10 entities which are invoked are not prayed for any personal gain. No, they are not asking that I want progeny, I want wealth, I want bungalow, I want car, nothing like that. What are they saying? They are just expecting the balance between the primordial elements. The balance is very important thing. Otherwise, it is difficult for all of us to stay on this earth as we have experienced with the cyclones like Totke or Yas, or even the eruptions of volcanoes or the ferocious wildfires that are experienced in the globe. Why all this is happening? Because the imbalance in these Pancha Mahabhutas are somehow now active. Therefore, these Namaskaras pray that there should be balance within and the same balance outside our nation and in the whole world. Today's topic is Vishwa Dharma ke Parichayak Dasha Namaskar. What is Vishwa Dharma? It is a universal religion. Every person in the universe is to be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhaved. It is our prayer. The happiness not for me, but for everybody, for my neighbor, for my nation, and for the citizens of globe. This is Vishwa Dharma. Those who know Marathi must be knowing Santa Jnaneshwara's Vachana, Vishwa Swadharma Surye Paho. That is what is reflected in these Dasha Namaskaras. And therefore, the title of today's Bauddhik, I think, is very, very apt. Another important thing, that these Namaskaras focus on Vishwa Kalyana. For us, for we Hindus, our family is not limited for hum do or hamare do. The animals, the birds, the entire neighborhood is our family. Sant Tukaram also has said, Vrikshavalli amma soyari vanachare. The birds, the animals, the creepers, the trees, the herbs, everything is enveloped in our family. And that is why it is said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This phrase is very familiar and very popular all over the world. But what does it exactly mean? It reflects on the universal religion. And this is the soul, the concept of Vishwa Kalyana is the soul of these Dasha Namaskaras. Now, coming to the next point, I would like to say that it is a coincidence that today I was given the opportunity to speak about the ancient Indian environmental thought on the Universal Environment Day, that is 5th June. When first I have given this date, I have not seen the calendar, but it coincidentally happened that the first Baudik is happening on this Universal Environmental Day. And therefore, we have the opportunity to carry forward the legacy of awareness of environmental thought of ancient Indian sages, which takes back us 5,000 years. So when I will narrate you the story of the birth of environmental science in the modern era, I will explain some more points. But here, what I want to say at the preferential point is the Shanti Mantra of Yajurveda. Hello, can you share that Shanti Mantra on the screen? Please,
Sure.
Rupa ji, that
Yes.
Shanti Mantra on the screen. See, I have requested to present it along with Sanskrit Shanti Mantra. The English translation also is there. This mantra, in its original text, is slightly difficult to pronounce. But now I will read it and you read it there. Om Dyauhu Shantihi, Antariksham Shantihi, Prithvi Shantihi, Apaha Shantihi, Oshadhayaha Shantihi, Vanaspatayaha Shantihi, Vishve Deva Shantihi, Brahma Shantihi, Sarvam Shantihi, Shantireva Shantihi, Sama Shantiredhi, Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. I am not going to read the whole translation. It is in front of you. You may read it. But please, the next mantra also. Please share the next mantra, that is of Taittiriya Upanishad, because there is some similarity and I want to comment both of them together. Om Shanno Mitraha, Sham Varunaha, Sham no Bhavatu Aryama, Shanno Indraha Bruhaspatihi, Shanno Vishnuhu Urukramaha, Namo Brahmane, Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami. Why I have taken these two mantras together? In the first mantra, Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash, all of them are requested to keep peace within themselves. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. In the next, see here, Mitra, Varuna, Aryama, Indra, Bruhaspati, Vishnu, Vayu, Brahma. These are the deities. In the first, they were the primordial elements. Now they are transformed into deities. It is a journey which is called a mythological journey. I will explain you. These primordial elements were to be pacified. They were to offer prayers, to keep calm and quiet. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to stay, as I said, on this earth. So then, in course of time, what happened? These elements were personified. They were given the status of a god. Godhood is offered to them. What is personification? Personification is the superimposition of human characters on non-human entities. See, for example, take the example of sun. Sun is prayed first. You know, in the first namaskara, the first position, first rank is given to sun. We see him, he is visible, but he is so bright and brilliant that it is difficult for us to see for him for a long time with naked eye. So what they have done, they have personified him. They have made him a golden man wearing the yellow silky garment equal to his rays. Then he has given a chariot because he is all traveling. He can't walk on foot. So he was given the chariot. This chariot has only one wheel. One wheel similar to the idea of one ear. Then his chariot was yoked with 7 horses, metaphorically the 7 days. Eka chakro ratho yasya. That is the verse. Not only that, but his charioteer was Aruna. What is Aruna? The red light, even if before dawn, which is seen in the sky, is the Aruna. He is his Sarathi. See, the metaphor is complete. Then they have thought of a family of Surya. Surya has 2 wives, Saudnya and Chaya. He has one daughter who is named as Surya. So he has become the head of the family. Then he was offered the godhood. Once he was offered the godhood, we started praying them and asking for boons. See, the Gayatri mantra in the Rigveda, Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, etc. What it requests? It requests the sun to sharpen our intellect, to stimulate our brain. We have started praying. At the same time, we are requesting for something in return. And this has happened with all the primordial elements, and they were offered the godhood. That is why in the first mantra, you will find that they will Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash. And in the second one, they were Mitra, Indra, Varuna. These are all the gods. And in each stanza, they were offered namaskara and they were prayed for. Now, as I have said you earlier, these environmental science, some people think that we have imported environmental science from West, which is totally wrong. As I have said you, the first expression of environmental awareness is found in Yajurveda itself. It is at least 5,000 years back. But the new story tells us, I will narrate you the story. And remember the date and year in which the modern environmental science has taken birth. It is the story in a class of an American university. The students of technology had protest against some sciences which are destroying the nature by their application. So this protest was the awareness of those students, and they started a movement. The motto of their movement was nurture nature. Nurture nature. Nisargo rakshati rakshitaha. That is what we say. Now they had one message. What message they were spreading all over the world? In all the universities they were traveling. And what message they were spreading was, study the nature. Help the nature to be calm and quiet, and it's in its original course. Use it, but don't disfigure it. This is the origin of modern science of environment. When it has taken birth? In 1969. So this science is old of only 51 years. 51 years old. Say maximum 55, 60 years old. Maybe we don't have some earlier references. So it is not more than 60 years. Okay. And our environmental awareness in the time of Rigveda and Yajurveda. Now, apart from the above narrated event in the foreign university, the environmental awareness is a quality of an individual, and it is deep rooted in Indian mind from the samskaras that we are getting from our birth. So it is not necessary to learn the science when you have properly understood the application of it. Still, it is good that in modern universities, it is taught in the syllabus, because we are getting away from nature, and therefore it has become necessary to put it in the syllabus. Now, coming to the next point. According to me, the Yajurveda stanza is the original image of environmental science. We call it Bimba. And these Dasha Namaskaras are the reflections of those Vedic mantras. And that is why I thought of explaining them together. Now, as I said, Mitra, Varuna, Indra, etc. were personified. There is an interesting point to note. See, in Rigveda, there was Varuna cult and there was Indra cult. And these two cults have mutual rivalry. They had many followers. Both the cults have many followers. And those followers were trying to establish the superiority of their leader. And therefore, they have fights also. See, this is interesting. Once they were become the gods, they definitely have devotees. And though the gods are not fighting, the devotees are bound to fight. So Varuna is at one place, Indra is at other place. You perhaps will think that why Varuna is mentioned and not Indra. I will come to the explanation when I will go through each stanza for explanation. Now, coming to the next point. Let us start with one namaskara. Can the organizer put one namaskara there on the screen so that the audience will understand the meaning of each word?
रूपा जी, एक एक नमस्कार की स्लाइड.
Yes, just give me a second.
Without audio.
See, the first, I will not read it, it is before you. The first namaskara is offered to the sun. How is he? Prachodana. Prachodana is stimulating. All the activities of all the beings in the universe are stimulated by the sun. He is glorified. It is the echo there. Is it echo for you?
Yes, there is an echo.
No. Yeah. Suryo Atma Jagataha Tastushascha. He is the soul of all movable and immovable objects in the world. So, the brilliance, the light and heat that the sun distributes for the whole world, keeping moving and still, the continued offering of light and heat is something very unique without which the universe can't exist. And therefore, he is placed at the first position in this namaskara. Very rightly, the first rank is offered to sun. How is he? Tejo Golaka. He is the ball of radiance, Tejo Golaka. And he is Mitra. He is the friend to all the universe. So he is Prachodana, he is Mitra, and he is Tejo Golaka. That is why we offer our namaskara to him at the first place and pray that let he sharpen my intellect so that I can continue with my lecture ahead. The next one. Dvitiyo me namaskaraha. Next, please. The second namaskara is offered to the sky. What is sky? We think that the blue portion above is the sky. You know what exactly sky is? Everything that lies above the surface of the earth, including atmosphere and outer space, is sky. The word akasha has come from the root kasha, to shine. So according to the etymology, akasha is that which shines. But what exactly happens? The sun shines being in the akasha, and because of his rays reflecting, we think that the sky is shining. But how is this sky? Vishal. It is very extensive. It is Akasha Tattva, one of the primordial elements. Now in Vedas, this Akasha or Swarga is called Dyauhu, and Dyava Prithvi is the dual deity. Dyava Prithvi are prayed mostly together, so it is called a dual deity. And in the Gita Ramayana, it is exactly the same wording. Akashashi jadale nate आज धरित्रीचे स्वयंवर झाले सीतेचे. So this milana of Akasha and Dharitri is a very commendable and attractive event for all Hindus. For all Hindus, I must say. Now, scientifically speaking, it is the Raghel scattering because of which the sky looks blue. Actually, there are 7 colors, you know. But why we see blue only? See, even here on this PPT, the sky is shown blue and the sun is there. It is exactly what the Namaskara says. Why the sky is blue? Because the rays of blue color reach Prithvi first. They are shorter in length and they are speedy. So we see the sky blue in color. Now there is an important word, Omkara Nadaya. Om is there. What is Omkara Nada? The first sound of the universe is Omkara. Actually, the Nyaya Vaisheshika philosophy says that Shabda Gunakam Akasham. Akasha has the property of sound. And Akasha is the hollow. Even in our ear, because there is some hollow portion, we can hear. Because we require some medium for the word to get to the ears. Now, this Omkara Nada is not only the first sound that we are saying it with blind faith, but some of you might have watched the video produced by NASA, in which we can clearly hear the Om, the premier sound of the universe. And that is why here very aptly it is said, Nama Omkara Nadaya. Now go to the third Namaskara. Third namaskara, please. Trutiyo no namaskaraha tasmai vayave devaya namasparshatan matraya. It is interesting to see the word Vayu. Original Sanskrit root is Va. Va means to flow. So the air that flows is called Vayu or even Vata. We are familiar with the word Vata. It has come from root Va. How is he? Sparsha tanmatraya. Again, the Nyaya Vaisheshika philosophy has said that Vayu has sparsha, touch. It has no rupa. Rupa rahita sparshavan Vayuhu. You can't see Vayu, but you can have its touch. You can understand the winds blowing by the sound they make and by the touch to your skin. Now, this Vayu again, as all other elements, is made a god, Vayu Deva. You know this, Vayu Deva. And he has two sons. One is Bhima and the other is Hanumana. So they tried to create a family of these elements. Then this same Vayu, which is outside, is also residing in our body. It resides in 5 forms. We call them Pancha Pranaha. Which are they? Hrudi Pranaha. When it stays in the heart, it is Prana. In the anus, it is Apana. Samano Nabhimandale. When it is the navel cavity, it is called Samana. When it is at the throat or Vagindriya, Kantadesha, it is called Udana. And that Vayu, which travels all over the body, is called Vyana. Unless these 5 pranas are in proper position, our digestion, our swasana, all the other activities will be disturbed if these 5 pranas are not functioning in their proper style. So what we do is very interesting. Before lunch and before dinner, when we put the food in the plate, we encircle the plate with water. We call it Naivedya. In most of the Hindu houses, it is being done. And at that time, what we pray? Om Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Udanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha, Brahmane Swaha. We are praying them that this food is being offered to you. Now it is your responsibility to digest in a good manner. This is what the Vayu Tattva inside. Even Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has said, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. Residing in the human body, what I am doing? Prana Pana Samayuktaha. Along with Prana and Apana, Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. I am digesting the food that is eaten in the form of Vaishwanara, that is in the form of Agni. So, with the urge for our good health, the third namaskara is offered to Vayu. Come to the fourth one. The fourth namaskara, please, fourth namaskara, please. Tasmai Varuna Devaya Namo Jagat Poshakaya. He is Jagat Poshaka. He is offering food and water. But here, the interesting point, which I have started to explain earlier, here it is Varuna. The picture, the shown, is of the falling rain. See, here we have to learn 2 things. Varuna and Indra, both of them are the gods of rain. That is true. In Rigveda, Varuna is glorified, but he is the god of static water, of the stored water. And Indra is the lord of Parjanya, that is the falling rains. Do you remember the story of Govardhana Parvata? In that story, Indra is invoked and not Varuna. Why? Because there was a rivalry between the two gods, not the gods, but of the followers. And so the duties were delegated. Varuna should take care of the sea, ocean, river, lakes, every water that is static and stored, while Indra should take care of the falling rains. And that is why in the story of Govardhana Parvata, not Varuna, but Indra is invoked. On the contrary, you know the motto of our naval squad, that is Navy. They say, Shanno Varuna. Why? Because Varuna is the lord of ocean. Unless the sea is calm and quiet, no naval activity is possible. And therefore, Shanno Varunaha, Varuna is invoked. Jagat Poshaka, I have already commented. See now, in this way, the mythological travel, we don't know when it is started, but it has a sure place. It has a reserved place in Indian culture in the form of worship, vows, rituals, etc. So even though we don't know the exact date, we are following these things very scrupulously. It is not at all a blind faith. It has scientific explanation too. And as we are depending on Varuna, the namaskara is offered to him. Yes, you are right, madam. Now I commit to the fifth one. Panchamo no namaskara Ratnagarbhayai Dharinyai. The fifth namaskara is offered to Nama Adhara Bhutayai, that is Pruthivyai. See, you are looking at the picture on which the goddess of Prithvi is sitting. Prithvi is inside, is downwards, and the goddess is sitting upwards. How is she? She is Ratnagarbha. The word Ratnagarbha has double meaning. One is the jewel stones she is bearing in the mind. Down the earth, there are mines in which we get jewels. That is one thing. But in the metaphorical sense, she has given birth to Nararatnas, to Stri Ratnas, to Bharata Ratnas, and therefore she is Ratnagarbha. She is Dharini. Root is Dhru, Dhru to support. See, one important thing about her. She is taking rounds around the sun, but all of us are steady. We are doing all our activities, having our foot steady on the earth, though she is moving. It is her quality of support or hold tight her offsprings, even if she is rolling round. So she is Dharini. So she is Adhara Bhuta. And therefore, our Sanskriti teaches us to bow down before her before putting our feet on the earth. Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kshamasvame. It is unavoidable for me to keep my feet on the earth, but I am aware that what you are doing for me is beyond my words, and therefore I am offering my sincere salute to you. Now, this Taraka Tattva, this Dharaka Tattva is also depicted in the word Adhara Bhutayai. Now, the next one. I will comment on this image sometime later when I will speak about Bharata Janani. Now, the Shashtha Namaskara, the sixth one, is for Bharata Janani. First, I will speak about this image. It is very interesting. This image is quite modern one. You know how it started? When It was in 1870, Bankim Chandra wrote Vande Mataram. At that time, he had some image in his mind of Bharata Mata. 1870. He has said Vande Mataram. So Bharat Mata is the concept from that time. Then in 1905, Avanindranath Tagore has painted one picture of Bharata Mata. She was the lady in the form of a sadhvi in saffron cladded clothes. Saffron cladded. She has 4 hands. In one hand, there was garland. In other, sheaves of paddy. In the other, book. And in the fourth one, there was white cloth. This was the second image. Now, coming to the present image, you will see that she is having only 2 hands. In one hand, she has Bhagavadhwaja, and the second one is giving you boons. This is the nature of Goddess Mother, always giving boons to her children. Now, she is not saffron cladded. She has a red 9-yard sari and she has embellishments too, because she is given the form of a goddess. And the human lady form, as we like to perceive, is given to her. She has the mukuta, crown, because she is the queen. She has the Siha, because she is Siha Vahini, the symbol of valor. But one more important picture is there, and that is of Indian nation. See, for every Indian, at least 3 important symbols which we must honor. One is the Bhagavadhwaja, or in some cases, it is shown tricolor. The color that way is not important because the Dhwaja, Rashtra Dhwaja, is the Manachinna. Then the Nakasha, the map of nation. You know how this map has come into existence? In British Raj, through Geographical Survey of India, the cartographic picture of Indian nation is painted in this form. So the Manachinna of Bharat nation is this map. And the third one is the Samvidhana, the constitution. So Dhwaja, Nakasha or map, and Samvidhana, these are 3 things which carry Swabhimana, Swa-abhimana, self-respect. And therefore, this stanza says, Swabhimana Pratimayai, Bharata Jananyai. See, she is mother of all of us. We may have our individual parents, but she is common to all, and she is the symbol of not of our ego, but of our self-respect. This is the symbol of freedom and sovereignty for which the soldiers choose to die. The Swayam Sevakas, the Rashtra Sevakas, even leave their happy homes for what? To protect her abhimana, her sovereignty, and therefore the Shashta Namaskara is offered to us. Now coming to the 7th one. I am going a bit hurriedly because I have one eye on the watch also. Saptamo me namaskaraha janani janakabhyam namasneha prerakabhyam. The 2 lines. And along with this, I will take the next one, that is the 8th one. Can you show the 8th one? Ashtamo no namaskaraha asmai vidyadayakaya atmadhyana bodhakaya. I will explain these 2 together. A small lump of flesh was transformed into a great personality by the parents. They not only nurture and nourish, but they develop our personality by giving values to us. How to behave, how not to behave. Do's and don'ts in life are taught by our parents. So it becomes our duty. See, the poorest among the poor, aspires to provide the best facility to his child. And therefore, it becomes the duty of the child to honor them, to respect them, to protect them, especially in their old age. This is the samskara that is given by our culture. And so the seventh stanza is important for this. Knowing this well, the Shikshavalli of Upanishad says, Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava. And in the eighth Namaskara, it is the Acharya which says, Acharya Devo Bhava. How is he? He is Vidyadayaka. He is, see, here the word generally is discussed in two ways. One is Shikshaka, who imparts you the knowledge through the syllabus. In the formative ages, in our school days, or even in the college days, it is very necessary to have a teacher who imparts knowledge through the syllabus. In the latter stage, when you have some spiritual inclination, then you require the guru, who is Atma Jnana Bodhaka. But these are not two different entities. The Shikshaka is contributory to the Atma Jnana Bodhaka Guru. And therefore, in one line, all these three are offered Namaskara, Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, and Acharya Devo Bhava. There is a list of acharyas in our country. You are aware of Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, etc. These are the acharyas, and all of them, the parents have not given us only the biological birth. No, they have given the lifelong nourishment, which is also contributed by our Guru. Now coming to the ninth one. The ninth one is Brahmarupa Dehasthaya Murta Bhava Chaitanyaya. See, 2 points here. First of all, we have to take care of our Pancha Mahabhautika Deha, because unless that Deha is swastha, you can't perform your duties. That is Arogyadayaka. The Deha, the body, must be easy, Arogya Sampanna. So, Deha is very important for the performance of our duties. Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. But here, the Namaskara is offered to Chaitanyaya, to the spirit inside, that is called Jivatma. This is highly philosophical verse. It says about Jivatma Paramatma Sambandha. How is this Jivatma who is caged? This Chaitanya is caged in our body. See, Dehastha is Chaitanya. And how it is? Brahma Rupa. It is the Ansha of that Paramatma. So we bow down before that Chaitanya who has come to the Murta Bhava. How it is coming? Murta Bhava is the formation of the body. So we can't see our soul. We just infer it through its action and through our bodily form. So, Navamo me namaskaraha Brahma Rupa Dehastha Chaitanyaya. Next one. The last but not the least. Divyaya Digmandalaya Puro Margadarshakaya. See, in this PPT, the dishas are shown. Purva, Paschim, Dakshin, Uttar, Agneya, Nairutya, Vayavya, Ishanya, and two more, Urdhva and Adhara. So traditionally, we speak of 10 dishas. Disha is a fraction of Akasha, which was saluted in the second verse. Here, actually, the word is not Disha. Be careful. Digmandala is the word. We can say that the whole circle of 10 dishas is saluted here. That will be one explanation. But when you go to the dictionary and try to search the word Digmandala, it is explained as horizon. Digmandala is the horizon. See, horizon is an imaginary line where the earth, or better say sky, touches the earth. That is the horizon region. Now this horizon is metaphorically symbolized with our objectives, with our goals. I see the horizon means I see that point where I want to reach. And this namaskara, what it is saying? Puro margadarshakaya. It is showing us the way ahead, how to reach to the goal. And therefore, I think the word Digmandala better suits here in the sense of horizon. Of course, horizon includes in them, definitely, the Dasha Dishas. But how it is? Divya. It is divine. And what is my urge? My urge is, or my objective is, to reach to the divine. Here is the reflection of whole Indian culture in capsule. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and finally, the fourth Purushartha is Moksha. I want to reach there. And so I request that please lead me to that way. Please show me the way where I have to go and to reach there. See now, this is what the explanation of the 10 Namaskaras. In the conclusion, I would like to say that there are 3 parts of these Namaskaras. The first 5 reflect on the environmental culture. Then the next 4 reflect on the cultural environment of India. Bharata Mata, Mata, Pita, and Acharya. The next verse is the philosophy of Advaita. And the last verse is the goal, that is our future, where we have to go. And therefore, with the very idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, I would like to repeat the whole discussion in one verse, which is composed in Sanskrit, but which is the purport of all what I have discussed. And I will conclude my speech with that verse because it is showing 5:15. The verse is Vedanugami mantroyam. This mantra, these samskaras, the namaskaras, is a mantra which follows the Vedic idea of environment. Paryavarana suchakaha. It is suggesting about environment. Pancha panchadibhi rupaihi Vishwa Dharma Pracharakaha. It is propagating the Vishwa Dharma. Satatya Purnair Pathairyo. If we repeatedly recite it, Sanskriti Parichayakaha, we will be acquainted with Indian culture in its true sense. And therefore, I am bowing down. I am saluting the Namaskara itself very humbly and giving virama to my Vani, Nata Tasmai Samarpya Viramamyaham. So the verse is Vedanugami Mantroyam Paryavarana Suchakaha Pancha Panchadibhi Rupaihi Vishwadharma Pracharakaha Satatya Purnair Pathairyo Sanskriti Parichayakaha Namo Vacham Nata Tasmai Samarpya Viramamyaham. Dhanyavad. Namaste.